Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games and Collectibles. And today we are looking at something that's very old and very, very rare now. We are looking at the 1968 release by Century 21 Books from their Joe 90 storybook series of books. Now, Century 21 produced about 4 or 5 of these books, these storybooks, and they were all produced towards the beginning of the year, around about March, April time, in time for Easter, and then of course they produced their annuals towards the end of the year. But these were the storybooks, and they were designed really for a stopgap between the annuals and the TV series. So, but each of these books contained 2 original stories, and this particular one we're looking at today contains 2 stories which are entitled The Cracksman and The Homing Pigeon, but we get on to that in a moment. But this is the front cover, and it says Gerry Andersons Joe 90 storybook, and there you can see an image of one of the armored tanks or whatever it is exploding, and you can see an image of Joe 90 at the bottom right hand corner, and it says as seen on television. So that's the front of the book. Let's turn it over to the back, and we've got, yeah, exactly the same image on the back as you usually did on these. Again, it's got Gerry Anderson's Joe 90 storybook. Same image of the tank exploding, and same image of Joe at the bottom. And it says Century 21 Books, and it's number J11. Let's just have a very quick look at the spline. And it says Joe 90 storybook. You can just see that. Very good condition, this one. So, no complaints there. Okay, that's the covers. Let's open it up and have a look inside. Okay, so I have opened the front cover, and this is what we got. So we've got an image of Joe. Let's just slide that over there so you can see the image of Joe 90 at the bottom, at the top there, and it's got the original purchase price here on the bottom left-hand corner of 2 and 6. And then, of course, we come on to the story. So I said there's 2 stories in this. The first one is called The Cracksman, which is the start of this one, and there's another story further up, which we get to when this one is finished. So it says The Cracksman. It says Joe 90 hardly noticed the beads of perspiration on his forehead as he listened intently for the tumblers of the safe to fall into place. His breathing was low and controlled, matching the deft movements of his fingers, slowly twirling his combination lock of the giant safe, which was housed in the Eastern Bloc's Warsaw embassy. A third click hammered through Joe's head as the last tumbler fell into position. Then he grasped the door handle firmly and pulled. The great steel door slowly opened, revealing the black interior of the safe. Joe stood back, making way for Sam Luther to step into the open doorway and quickly rifle the contents. Swiftly and delicately, Sam ran his fingers through the pile of papers facing him. Suddenly, he gave a shout of joy and pulled out a long brown envelope. As he jammed the precious envelope into his inside pocket, Luther stepped back from the safe and shut the door again. "Okay, Joe," he muttered, "we've got what we came for. Now, let's get out of here." So there we are. That's how the story starts. So they've cracked a safe in, was it Moscow, I think? No, Warsaw, sorry. And so this is a full story. It's an original story produced specifically for this storybook. And it is with artwork images, full artwork images, full colour artwork images, I should say, which are not bad drawings. I've seen them, the better ones, but they're not bad actually. And they're nice and colourful, and it does break up the text somewhat to look at the drawings, even though it's artwork drawings, it's not actually photographs, but still nice. It's always nice to have those pictures in these storybooks, and for every kid it made more sense for them to look at a book that has pictures in it rather than just text. But, some of the artwork images are really good though, I must admit. And then we come on to the second story, which is called The Homing Pigeon, and there you can see Joe 90 just sitting in the big rat. It says Joe McLean settled into the chair of the rat trap. Carefully he clumped the impulse electronics to the sides of his head and then gripped the 2 support arms. "Ready, Joe?" "Yes, Dad," Joe replied. Professor McLean reached towards the control panel of the big rat. The brain impulse galvanization record and transfer, and flicked a switch. The rat trap chair swung upwards and backwards into the trap itself. Joe tensed himself slightly, Then very slowly the outer rim of the trap began to spin. It quickly picked up speed until it became a blur of flying steel. At the same time, Joe felt the tingle in his forehead, indicating that the big rat computer was transferring someone's brain patterns into his mind. After a few seconds, the tingling faded. The trap slowed down and Joe could see his father, Sam Luver, and Shane Weston carefully watching. The massive dial was showing that the big rat computer was doing its work correctly. Joe smiled to himself. The big rat was their secret. No one but the 4 people at that moment in the laboratory knew of Professor McLean's invention and Joe's part in it as the World Intelligence Network's most invaluable secret agent. There we are. And that's again, so it's another original story wrote specifically for this book, and again with great colour illustrations. It was always a thing for us with as kids. We could read these books and look at these great pictures that come with it, and it also broke the text up so the book didn't look too daunting of having so much text with no illustrations. So it was great for us as kids. And there we come to the end of the book. It says, about the crackling of the flames, Joe could hear the plaintive voice of Krusty. It was a small boy, I tell you. He was about 9 years old. Forget it, Krusty, grated the rough voice of a Win agent. Joe smiled to himself, and at that moment, Sam Luver appeared. Joe, he called softly, mission accomplished. We're going home now. And there's also an image of Sam Luver, who is their Joan and Professor McLean's contact at WIN, which is the World Intelligence Network. Okay, so that is the end of the storybook. Great little storybook, and the stories in it are very, very good. Specifically wrote for the storybook, and the artwork is good, very good. So, how would these books do? Well, the book's done very well, as did all of the publications, the Gerry Andersons publications of the time, bearing in mind that these was produced when Joe 90 was still on TV. So it was all tied in with the television series, and also it was a stopgap between the annuals. So the annuals used to come out September, October, November time in line for Christmas. And so in order to keep your mouth moist, waiting for more action, you would get the storybooks at the front end of the year. So March, April time, the storybooks were produced. So you had something to read while you was waiting for your next series of the television show, or your next episode of the television show, and of course for the annuals to appear. So yeah, they've done very well. They didn't sell as many as the annuals. Obviously, the annuals was a huge thing, but the storybooks was a nice stopgap for a lot of people. Now, they did produce, I think there was 4 or 5 of these Joe 91s storybooks that were produced. Some appear to be a lot rarer than others, and this particular one we're looking at today is one of the rare ones. This particular one, you hardly ever see this one. There's a couple of the others come up all the time. They appear very regularly, but this one it's one of those that just really doesn't come up that often. However, I say it doesn't come up very often. Occasionally, you will see this particular one appear on a platform. But again, you've got to be very careful of the condition if you choose to buy on a platform. And that's obviously because, as I said it before, some person's definition of very good could be somebody else's definition of just acceptable. So you need to have a good look at the photographs of the item that's being sold, and be very vigilant of the if there's any damage or tears or markings or what have you. Okay, or of course, alternatively, we at Midas Touch have managed to find a few copies of this particular book, and they are currently available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to quite simply by clicking the link below. It'll take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Gerry Anderson items, and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles. Come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I am absolutely positive that you won't want to miss this. because we literally have thousands and thousands of new products which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you are looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky you might want to buy for a friend, or maybe just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories. Well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know, the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed this very short video and reviewing this book with me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next time.